Well, I'm very pleased to have our first guest join me in studio. Mr. James Nelson is the CEO of Solar3D Incorporated. SLTD is their stock symbol. Jim, pleasure to see you again.
Great to be back, Don.
Well, I know we've reinitiated coverage of the company, so we'll be seeing you a lot more in the next several months. Now, the company describes itself as basically developing a new type of solar technology to better maximize the conversion of electricity from sunlight. Why don't you tell us what it is?
Sure, it's just that, Don. As a matter of fact, I think it's worth talking for just briefly about how important solar energy is to us personally. My partners and I feel that solar energy is the future of energy and that we have a real commitment to it. We think that that's what mankind is supposed to use to power itself. And the thing that disturbed us was that solar energy was being used, but it was not economical at all. So our mission in creating Solar3D is to get solar so it's economical and accessible for the whole world. That's what we're after. We're developing a new solar cell to do that.
Well, now conventional solar cells lose a significant amount of sunlight due to reflection and within the solar cells themselves. How does yours differentiate?
Well, as we began the process of developing the solar cell, recognizing the solar cell as the driver of any solar system, we knew that there were problems with the solar cell. So we essentially took it apart and looked at the places where we were losing energy in the solar system. The first one, obviously, is reflection. The second one was the fact that a lot of the electrons that were knocked loose by the photons were reabsorbed into the silicon. We undertook, through developing the three-dimensional structure and the light trapping mechanism that we have, to eliminate those two problems, and we've effectively done it at this point.
Well, a few months ago, when you were first on the program, you showed us a prototype, video of a prototype. It was very exciting. Now, I know that the company recently released news that you're making progress towards a commercial cell. Tell us about that.
Yes, of course, the whole thing boils down to the cost per watt, or the total cost of ownership of a solar system. And so we've been working hard in the lab to bring the cost of manufacturing and the cost of manufacturing down and the power up. And so Chang-Wan Son, our director of technology, and his team have been up in the lab and doing just that. They've been experimenting with different types of three-dimensional structures and also various thicknesses of the silicon. We're finding that we're gradually increasing the level of efficiency and the power output, but also making it much easier to manufacture, which is key, of course, to the revolutionizing of the solar business.
Well, yeah, I guess you would have to admit and understand that last year was a bad PR year for the solar industry, what with Solyndra getting so much publicity and that type of thing. How is the solar industry going right now overall?
Well, it's interesting. Last year, it wasn't just Solyndra. It seemed like so many companies were going down or being put out of business. And part of it was that the Chinese were so aggressive about bringing their costs down and challenging the cost structure of American manufacturing. And they effectively did that. It was interesting. I testified before Congress with a couple of the other CEOs in the solar business. And it was interesting to see their eyes wide and in shock over what was going on after such a decade of love fest with the solar business. But as we speak here today, the Chinese, as a result of reducing the cost of their solar and seeing so many opportunities to enter markets and have people absorb and adopt this new technology, solar has taken off. And frankly, it'll be the fastest growing business for the next 30 to 50 years. And I think 30 to 50 years from now, it may be that half or more of our power needs is covered by solar energy. I really, truly believe that.
That would be amazing. Now, how about the capital markets? How are investors reacting to the solar industry right now?
Well, in the last couple of weeks, Goldman Sachs themselves have committed $1 billion to solar. $500 million went to Solar City for leasing installations, and then half a billion to the Japanese market just to help develop more solar in that market. I think the capital markets truly understand. In fact, the information that I get from the capital markets is that this is the fastest growing business for the foreseeable future. Wow. And it's set up so that all it needs is a breakthrough technology to really make it go even faster.
Now, I'm sure as CEO, every time your phone rings, 1 out of 3 calls ask you this same question. But when do you expect pilot manufacturing of the commercial cell to commence?
We're working with the College of nanotechnology up in New York, and their center for commercialization. And we believe that we'll probably be able to do that by the fourth quarter this year.
Really?
And so we're hoping, and we're working toward that goal.
Wonderful. Again, Solar3D, SLTD is their stock symbol. Jim, why is this a good time right now for folks to take a closer look at your company?
Well, our stock price is low, and any of these big benchmarks that we're about to hit in the next year, I think are going to be great opportunities for investors to take advantage of the opportunity that we see as well.
Well, I know that we'll be seeing a lot more from you over the next several months, a lot more developments with the company. Again, Solar3D, SLTD is their stock symbol. Jim, can't wait for the next interview already.
Thanks a lot, Don. We'll talk to you soon.